Hello, my name is Animus of VA Games, and you're about to learn everything there is to know about Mega Man X. This is Let's Play Mega Man X Episode 11, and today I'm going to be revealing the locations of all 16 upgrades hidden throughout the 8 Maverick stages in Mega Man X. I'm going to go through this in the order that I've suggested in my series, and that starts with Chill Penguin. The first upgrade on my list should be the first upgrade on everybody's list. Classic Mega Man did eventually earn the ability to slide, but that wasn't until later, and the ability was quite limited, and it didn't do all that much to increase his agility. X's dash, however, completely changed the way you play Mega Man games. It was so important, in fact, that every Mega Man X game to follow this one started you with the dash ability. And this game might as well have given it to you. It's located just before the midpoint near the end of the cavern of the easiest stage guarded by the easiest Maverick, and it's completely unmissable. Since this ability is required for most of the others, you're only spiting yourself if you don't get this one first. Unfortunately, even with our shiny new dash ability, that's about all we're going to be able to accomplish in this level for right now. We'll have to come back later with some new abilities. So finish this stage and move on to your next target, which should be Storm Eagle. There's going to be a heart tank that's hidden on the airport right behind where you start. You have to ride the lifts all the way to the top and dash jump off to the left. You should land on the roof where the heart tank is. Jump straight down and you'll be right back where you started. There's also a sub-tank that's hidden in this stage just after the heart. It's really easy to get. When you get to the lift cannon, destroy it and use its lift to ride all the way up to the air traffic control tower. Shoot the glass to break it and gain access to the interior. The sub-tank's on the far side guarded by a single gunbolt. If one were so motivated, you could get up here from the other side. Whichever way you do it, collect the sub-tank and move on to the next item. And that item is in a storage facility that's hidden just below the stage after an antenna tower. Vault over the truss and leap to the platform with the flammable tanks. You can use a fire wave weapon to destroy these quickly. On the other side is the capsule with the helmet upgrade. Once you have that, you have everything that this stage has to offer. When you finish it, you should head over to Flame Mammoth's factory for some more items. The first of which is going to really test your patience. It's hidden near the beginning of the stage just after the first atrium. You're going to see a bunch of breakable blocks off to the left in the ceiling. This jump requires nearly frame-perfect precision, and if you break one of the blocks and then fall, your chances of getting back up there are slim to none. When you do get up there, you'll find a capsule with the X-Buster upgrade. If you feel this task is beyond you, skip it for now. As I mentioned in this series, this is the second upgrade that you can't beat the game without. During your second meeting with Vile, Zero's going to self-destruct in order to take out his ride armor. If you didn't get the Buster upgrade at this point, he's going to turn over his arm cannon to you. This feels special, but don't be fooled. It's exactly the same thing as if you had gotten the capsule earlier in Flame Mammoth stage. Either way, the heart tank is going to be located in the very next room, which is big and open. If you followed along, that means you've beaten Chill Penguin, and the ground is going to be completely covered in ash or snow. You're going to run along this ash, and on the far side is going to be the heart underneath the platform. If you come here before you beat Chill Penguin, this entire area is going to be covered in fire, and that little walkway underneath is going to be covered in lava. The unupgraded version of X can't survive more than one hit from this environment, so you're going to have to come back for it later. And that isn't even everything. There's still one more item that's hidden in this room. Carefully work your way through the horde of pick-chucking miners to the top level where the medals are. On the far side of that platform you'll see an extra life. Dash jump to the left, cling to the wall, and use your helmet upgrade to break the blocks and get access to the sub-tank. When you complete this level, you're going to be ready for a little bit of backtracking. Now that you're armed with the fire wave, head back to the missile base. Just after where you got the leg upgrade, you're going to find a ride armor. Use the ride armor to reach the roof of the structure. That HUD is actually a beehive, and it's got a death grip on our heart tank. The only way to destroy it is with the fire wave, and all other weaponry is completely ineffective. Once you collect it, there's no reason to stick around. Use the escape unit and head over to Boomer Coanger's tower. When you get to the top of the tower near the end of the level just before the boss, charge up your shotgun ice to create a platform that will slide off the edge. You can use that to jump to the platform that has the heart. It's a bit of a tricky jump, and if it's too much for you, you can actually finish this level to get the Boomerang Cutter weapon and come back. The Boomerang Cutter weapon can be used to easily, safely, and quickly get this item. Spark Mandrill is going to be hiding a Telltale sub-tank in his floorboards. As soon as the stage starts, head down the first ladder, destroy 2 gun bolts, and whip out your brand spanking new Boomerang Cutter weapon. There's a really clever trick to this one. The only way to get your cutters to reach is to fire the weapon while you're falling. This gets the weapon to curve downward. Next up is a heart tank that you can find near the end of the stage, hidden near the ceiling in the darkness. Just after the first Mega Tortoise, before heading down the ladder, climb up the wall. You'll find it in the corner. It's a bit of a tricky jump, but it's not really that bad compared to anything you've done so far. 11 down and 5 to go. Next up is a sub-tank hidden in Armored Armadillo's mines. Just after the first minecart segment, drop down into the pit, goad out the first mole borer. Behind the mole borer in the cavern is going to be your sub-tank. Just after the second minecart segment, drop into the massive pit down to the second mole borer. You either have to drop down in front of it or kill it very quickly in order to reach the heart tank before it destroys the platform that you need to reach it. You can do this with a fire wave or the X-Buster, but you're best just to jump in front of it. For now, we've gotten everything we can get here. We'll come back later, I promise, but first we have to get the last few upgrades in the last two stages. The next one is an extremely elusive heart hidden in Launch Octopus's level. Just after the second Anglurge, you're going to find these devices that have a corkscrew current that rise to the surface. Take your pick of either the second or the third one and ride it up to a ship that's called the Cruiser, shaped like a whale. You can use a fire wave to destroy it, but I think the best way is just use a single storm tornado. Once this creature is destroyed, it's going to sink, and it'll destroy a portion of the sea floor which unlocks a hidden chamber underneath. Down here you're going to disturb an Ouroboros. When you destroy it, you're going to find a heart tank hidden in the cavern all the way off to the right-hand side. You can use another storm tornado to take out the Ouroboros if you need the help. Our last two items are going to be hidden in the Stink Chameleon's forest, and both of these are going to be hidden in the very beginning of the stage. The first of which is going to be the body armor capsule, and that's hidden just above the tunnel entrance. You're going to be locked in single combat with a mechanoid sumo wrestler called RT-55J. This guy looks just like Otto from the Mega Man Classic series, and he's just as annoying. And since he is the guardian of the best standard upgrade capsule available to you, you better believe this guy comes heavily armored. He's got a lot of health, and only a small portion of his upper body is vulnerable to your fire, so it's going to take you a good long time to finish this thing off. He's also a bit resistant to the fire wave and the storm tornado, which makes this guy especially annoying. When you finally take him out, the capsule is going to rise out of the ground like the undead, and you won't be free to leave the area until you equip the upgrade. But why would you want to leave without it anyway? The last item on our list is going to be a heart tank, and it's actually right underneath the tunnel. You have to come here after you've beaten Launch Octopus to fill the chamber up with water, the physics of which are the only way that you can actually cross the long gap to reach the heart. And with that, you have just about everything this game has to offer, and you're ready to take on Sigma. However, for the elite of you out there, just enough isn't good enough. To many a Capcom fan's delight, there is yet one more hidden capsule to find. Now, even though this game came out almost 20 whole years ago, that's 2 decades, people still have no idea how this thing works, how to get it, how to use it, what you can use it on, and that's going to be the main focus of this video. There's just way too much confusion and way too many myths about this thing, so I'm going to debunk all of them today. It's worth mentioning that if your only experience with Mega Man X is going to be a video that you watch on YouTube, then I believe I can humbly suggest that you have to watch the sequelitis video done by Egoraptor. I'm serious, that stuff's amazing, it's funny, it's very educational. I encourage you to go watch it right now, come back to this one when you're done. But then you definitely need to finish watching this video, because now I'm going to tell you everything that you need to know about the Hadouken. I'm willing to bet that even the Mega Man X vets that think they know everything, I even bet that they're going to learn something here. As Google suggests, there are still scores of people looking for correct instructions about how to get the Hadouken, and unfortunately they don't exist. As far as I'm aware, Capcom's never made an official statement about the Hadouken or how to get it, so the only information we have to go by is just anything that the players have been able to get. And for all intents and purposes, it's close enough. But as I mentioned before, if you're watching this video, close enough isn't good enough. So I'm going to tell you exactly what you need as closely as I can determine from experimentation. But first, I think it's a really good idea to shoot down some of these urban legends and myths that surround it. The good thing is that the overwhelming majority of the false information available concerns health requirements, and this is a minor offense. Now, there are several versions of these, but the most popular ones usually include something about a no-hit run or not taking any damage, and this claim is completely wrong. Getting the Hadouken capsule to appear has nothing to do with how much damage you take or how much damage you don't take throughout your runs, but going for a no-hit run is never a bad idea. On the other hand, there are some sources that actually claim that you need to have full sub-tanks and or maximum number of lives, which happens to be 10, but this is entirely misleading and completely inaccurate. So long as you fulfill 4 special requirements, the Hadouken capsule is going to appear in that location on the cliff every single time, and this is guaranteed. The first 2 requirements should be pretty obvious to you, and they're kind of related. The first is that you have to have all 16 of the upgrades that I covered earlier in this video. That includes the 8 heart tanks, the 4 sub-tanks, and the 4 upgrade capsules. If you've checked this requirement off, chances are you've gotten number 2 down too. You must have access to Sigma's Fortress, which means you've beaten the 8 Mavericks and have all their weapons. If you look at it from that perspective, you can really concatenate the second requirement to the first and just say that you need all items. The third requirement is that pesky one about health that everybody gets wrong. You don't need to do a no damage run, you don't have to have full weapon energy, and you don't have to have full sub-tanks. But in order to get the capsule to appear, you do have to have full health right about here. This one's actually kind of hard to understand, but it's really cool. The capsule's almost like Schrodinger's cat, and it's in a superposition of being both there and not there until you observe it and force the decision. At the time that you view the location, your health has to be full, otherwise the capsule will not be there. And finally, there's also a little bit of confusion about the fourth requirement. That's really just the fault of the third requirement and people not really explicitly understanding it and how it works. The good thing is that it doesn't lead to blatantly incorrect information so much as it leads to confused or uncertain information. It's also very likely and completely understandable that you may not understand how this works until I go over it. So this is it to the best of my understanding. Please bear with me. There is a counter variable hidden in the game's code whose only job is to count the number of times that X arrives on the cliff with the energy just above Armored Armadillo's gate. This variable is initialized to 0 every time you boot up your system. The fourth stipulation in getting the Hadouken Fireball Capsule to appear is that this variable must be equal to or greater than 4. So you can visit this location 4 times at any time during your game session. Come back later after you've checked off the other 3 requirements, and the Hadouken Fireball Capsule will be there waiting for you. Dr. Santa Claus Light will be there to greet you wearing reused gi from Street Fighter. When you step in the capsule and receive the gift, you will be given the ability to use the Hadouken Fireball. However, this will not be a weapon that goes into your inventory. It is simply an ability that you're able to use with a series of buttons. To the arcade fighter vets in the crowd, that's quarter circle forward and shoot. To the rest of you, that's down, down forward, forward, and shoot. Just keep in mind that you do have to have full health in order to even use the attack, which kind of dampens its usefulness. Now usually when I play this game, I skip the Hadouken Fireball altogether. It's slow and unwieldy, and that health requirement kind of takes away the fun. So why would you want it? First of all, it's an excellent reference to an excellent series. Second of all, it is extremely powerful. You don't believe me? Exhibit A.
Fight!
But let me kick this misconception about its power. While this attack is capable of destroying most enemies in one hit, it doesn't destroy all enemies in one hit. Almost every mechanoloid and mini-boss in the game is going to take more than one shot to take down. Some of them can take as many as 3. Rangda Bangda from Sigma's Fortress 2 is another extenuating circumstance. One Hadouken Fireball is enough to destroy one of the eyes, but there are 2 of them, so you need 2 Hadouken Fireballs. The nose, on the other hand, can't be targeted by the Hadouken Fireball at all, because it's only vulnerable when there's no floor, and if there's no floor, you can't use the attack. The good news, however, is that Sigma and his dog both fall prey to just one Hadouken blow. However, the final boss is Sigma's second form, which is kind of a merging of the first and second final boss battle. Unfortunately, this guy is completely impervious to the Hadouken Fireball, so you're going to have to take this guy out with more conventional means. And although X's Kung Fu fighting is capable of killing Vile in one shot, his right armor is another story. Unlike Sigma's second form, Vile's right armor does take damage, however it has limitless health, so it can't physically be destroyed. One more final note of caution. The Hadouken Fireball cannot be saved by a password, so you have to repeat these steps in order to get the Hadouken Fireball all over again every time you reset or turn off the game. And with that, I believe my job here is done. I've shared everything that I believe I know about this game, and I hope that it helps someone somewhere somehow. With that, we're ready to take on Sigma's Fortress and finish up the game. If you followed me this far, I'm hoping that you'll follow me just a little bit farther. We're almost there. I promise we'll finish it soon. I'll see you next time in Sigma's Fortress 1. Thanks for watching. I'd also like to make a very special shout out to the wonderful and beautiful Elu of KnightsofHyrule.org. She helps me with all of my graphic design, my layouts, and everything like that, and she kind of helps me review some of my videos before I put them up, so I just wanted to extend a thank you to her. Please check out her channel. I have links in the description. You can click the annotation on the screen. As her name suggests, she does a weekly mailbag where she answers her community's questions about Zelda. So please check it out. Tell her I sent you. Thank you, guys.
Bye!